Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. My name is Luqman Shadrack, all the way from the Cape Town studios. Thanks for watching us on channel 347 on DSTV. Now, as we do on Hilaal Live, we set a platform for those that are making strides into our communities, not just in South Africa, but the rest of Africa as well. And I thought, let's invite a young man who's part of an initiative for a company that researches and develops renewable energy applications with the vision of developing an off-grid energy system that will empower the people of Africa. I'd like to introduce from Green New World, CEO and founder, Brother Ridaa Manuel. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Shukran for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Ridaa, I've seen some of the great work you've done, and I'm sure our viewers are going to be very interested, and we're going to tell them a bit more about the wonderful work you do. But for those that don't know too much, give us a bit of background, your history.
Yeah, okay, so my name is Ridaa Manuel. I live in Crossy Park. I studied mechanical engineering at CPUT, something I thoroughly enjoyed because of my love for physics and my love for the way things work, the science of things. And then I worked in that industry for a number of years, about 10 years now, and currently doing my master's in energy, and with the aim of learning the knowledge and designing a system that can help solve the energy problem in Africa and in South Africa, load shedding.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the buzzword.
Yeah. I, as you say, the founder of Green New World, and also working as a training graduate at UWC. So the training coordinator, training electrical and mechanical engineering graduates in the field of renewable energy and energy storage. So it's sort of part of that handing over the knowledge that I've been learning over the past few years. And
fantastic. But how did you get to this point? What was the light bulb moment that made you go into this initiative of opening your own company and some of the amazing projects that you've undertaken?
Yeah, so Green New World was sort of born out of me discovering my purpose and going on this journey of discovering my purpose. So that involves analyzing your life's events, especially those events that touched you the most. And sort of those events point you in a direction that you have to go. And a big events in my life that pointed me in this direction was working in the townships and the villages of Africa as well. We did sort of dawah missionary work.
Lovely.
And a lot of people, alhamdulillah, embraced Islam, hundreds of thousands. But still, when we left there, the people were still in states of poverty. I mean, people would come to us and cry to us because of how hungry they are. We'd go into people's houses. I went into hundreds of shacks, and none of those shacks had electricity. I mean, they were connected to the grid, but none of them could afford the electricity because the electricity is so expensive.
Got you. And this is through Africa.
So that's mostly in the townships, but when moving through Africa, Malawi, it was could see the stark reality of this problem. I mean, I would go through townships and villages, and the entire village would be dark. No one in the village has electricity.
My word.
You'd want to shower at night and open the tap, and no water would come out because there's no electricity to pump the water. Sometimes you'd open the tap and just rust would come out.
Sure.
So the reality of this is that 600 million people in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, have no access to electricity. I mean, none of this. They have absolutely nothing. I mean, when I came back from Malawi and I got into that home shower, it was an absolute luxury. I was so grateful for warm water and lights, something we take for granted. And it's not only about energy, but also water. 400 million people in Africa have no access to clean drinking water. 27 million people in Africa have no access to proper food. And so I thought to myself that, is there not something I can do about this? Using my knowledge as an engineer and my experience as an engineer. So as I said, analyzing all these events and putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
Wonderful.
So I have to create a system that can solve this problem, and a system that will provide this clean drinking water for these people, provide electricity for these people, provide food for these people.
Right.
So that is how it was born.
Okay. So you've seen the need. You've traveled. You've identified that there is a need for, electricity and water. How did you go about setting up Green New World, or was there a bit of couple of steps back before this company started?
So Green New World is basically the house to achieve this purpose.
Okay.
And it contains also the plan to get to that. So we want to gradually build the system part by part until we have this totally integrated renewable energy system.
Okay.
And so as we build these technologies, which is intended for a greater system, that technology sort of becomes like a product for the company, and we sell it. That brings in an income, allows us to do further research and development, to do further research and gaining knowledge. And but a big demand from Green New World was the knowledge, and so as a result, a lot of classes were set up. There was a demand on people wanting to learn this knowledge.
Okay.
So that was also another big form of income into Green New World, is these classes. So I sort of saw that as we need to build a system, but also as you build the system, hand the system over to the people.
Gotcha.
So I use these classes as a means to hand over the system. So as I'm learning, I teach it as well, sort of hand it over. And that's how the Green New World moves forward. And so obviously it brings in income, but at this moment, Green New World is also sort of partnered with UWC as well.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm connected to someone at UWC who has the same vision as myself. And so a lot of the projects is being undertaken in partnership with him as well. I believe that I cannot build the Green New World on my own. It has to be in partnership with universities or businesses or institutes.
Like-minded people that have the same vision. So take us through some of the projects you've undertaken to date. I mean, there must have been quite a bit of research, must have been quite a bit of information gathering that you must have acquired in order to start your very first project.
Yes.
So take us through those days.
So obviously, from the vision, we're building backwards. So we have the vision, we want to build this complete system in Africa.
Right.
So to build that system, we must build a prototype in South Africa. To build a prototype, we must build this integrated renewable energy system. So like I said earlier, we built part by part and we connect it up. So I started off by building a plastic bottle solar shower.
Right.
So that's the part of the system that provides the warm water. So
and we have those on the screen right now.
Okay, so yeah, as you can see there. So that is we're using plastic bottles that's laying around everywhere, so-called waste, and milk cartons to convert the energy of the sun into 50 degrees of warm water that you can use to shower, that you can use to wash the dishes. And it doesn't need any electricity. It doesn't have any elements or any pumps.
Okay.
So all that it does is it uses the plastic bottles to trap the energy of the sun, the milk cartons then to absorb that energy, and then it's in contact with the water that's running through it. So that you're building basically a solar panel out of waste.
Nice.
So it's waste to energy.
Gotcha.
So you're heating up this water, and the water is being fed from a raised bottle, sort of into via gravity into the tank. And what's happening is the water in the panel is heating up, so becoming lighter, and the water in the tank is still heavy and cold. So it set up a natural cycle called the thermosiphon effect.
Okay.
So the water gets pumped basically against gravity back into the container, and the water in the tank just heats up and heats up. You just have to leave it there. It takes about 2 hours to reach 50 degrees.
Wow. And that's sufficient enough to have a warm shower.
Definitely.
And just use it for whatever else you do need.
So we spoke earlier about the people in Malawi having no access to warm water. So here, if we obviously take this technology is like a very low cost. We can these bottles and milk cartons just lying everywhere. If they realize that that's actually a resource, they will themselves start cleaning up the streets and building these solar panels. And so it's both building the technology and teaching it as well. So therefore, the many classes we had with regards to that.
And something like that, how long will it take to build? And is it extra? Is it going to cost you a lot of money? But like you said, it's all bottles lying around.
Yeah.
But everything else that's attached to something like that.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just like plastic piping and wood.
Okay.
That is needed. So it's this is basically the cheapest route in, like I could call it. So it's designed for the people in the townships and the people in the villages. You don't have to spend a lot of money to have access to the energy of the sun, which is free, which is in a sense unlimited.
Yeah.
So and in terms of time, I would say 2 weeks to
about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously over the years you've perfected it, and obviously you have new models and certain ways of doing it that makes it a bit more efficient.
Yeah, I'm sure people can build very quickly. You see, the time, a lot of time is spent in the research and development because you have to go through all the books,
Yes.
and then you have to build it, and then it doesn't work. Then you have to troubleshoot, go back to the books.
It's all part of R&D.
Yeah, all R&D until it's perfected. So the masses don't have to go through that.
Right.
So I can just hand it over. Here's the technology. Here's how to build it.
Right.
You don't have to go through all that trouble.
Yeah.
I made that which is complex into something that is simple English, and you can.
Are there people that are using it right now?
I don't know, but there was quite a lot of people that was attended these classes.
Right.
I have to go recheck with them if they actually built it. Hopefully they did.
And it's working, inshallah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. We're chatting to Ridaa Manuel, who is part of a company called Green New World. He's the CEO and founder, and we're chatting about the various applications that his aim is to allow most of Africa, to live off the grid. We're going to take an ad break. When we come back, we catch up with some of the other amazing projects and initiatives that this young individual is busy with at the moment. You are still tuned in to Hilaal Live. Welcome back to Hilaal Live, coming to you live from our Cape Town studios. And in studio, I'm chatting to the CEO and founder of Green New World, a company that develops renewable energy applications and hoping for Africa to live off the grid as well. In studio, I'd like to welcome back Ridaa Manuel. Ridaa, thanks for joining us once again. I would imagine through your R&D and through your various research, through your earlier years and still today, you had to get involved in quite a few expos. Yeah. You had to get involved in quite a few conventions. Take us through some of those amazing initiatives that you've been through.
Yeah, so the two technologies that has been in a lot of expos and classes, let's say, is the plastic bottle soda shower and the green hydrogen educational kit.
Okay.
The green hydrogen educational kit is a kit that basically converts water into fuel and into electricity as well.
Okay, so when you say fuel,
hydrogen fuel.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I could just explain it briefly, what it does is it takes water and it splits the water.
Right.
Into
oxygen and hydrogen.
Into oxygen and hydrogen. So we need to apply electricity or an electron to the water, and that dissociates the water.
Right.
And we supply that electricity using solar energy. That's why it's called green hydrogen.
Gotcha.
And once it splits up, there's a membrane that separates the hydrogen from the oxygen. And from there we have that in essence is green hydrogen. Right. It was produced using green energy.
Okay, then what do we use that for?
Then so that what it's going to be used for in the future is, for example, we make our fuels and like Sasol makes fuel and it contains hydrogen, but it's currently dirty hydrogen. So for them to switch to greener fuels, they need green hydrogen.
Gotcha.
So we use it in those industries. Steel uses hydrogen in steel production. In order to switch to green steel, you will use green hydrogen there.
Gotcha.
Fertilizer uses hydrogen. So all of those industries can switch to green hydrogen. So in other words, in the way they're producing the hydrogen, it's not polluting the environment.
Right.
And then the hydrogen can further be converted to electricity. Like they say, hydrogen fuel cell cars.
Okay.
So you put the hydrogen fuel cell in a car and you pump the hydrogen fuel in the tank. So when you need to drive, the hydrogen goes to the fuel cell and there it splits into protons and electrons again.
Gotcha.
And the membrane there only allows the proton to go through. But the electron also wants to reach to the other side, but it can't. So you put a wire there. So the electron moves to the wire and you produce electricity.
Gotcha.
From that chemical. So there's a proton in the center, electron. So you're splitting that, putting the electron through a wire, producing electricity.
Okay.
And in that kit, it spins a fan.
Okay.
But in the case of a car, it will spin the wheels.
Right.
And it will move.
Gotcha. So is there quite a bit of people around the world that's doing a lot more research towards a greener planet or a greener way of living, and are the corporate companies out there sitting up and taking notice of this and wanting to move in that direction?
No, definitely. Like for example, with this switching to building this green hydrogen educational kit, Sasol in themselves, which is quite a big company, was extremely interested in it.
Nice.
And this is linked to our question about the expos. So every expo they ask me to come in.
Brilliant.
And display this kit and teach the masses about green hydrogen and show them how Sasol is going to switch to to a greener future by switching to green
And
hydrogen.
this is by using your model.
Yes, so I have to, so every time they have an expo, they call me. I have to go stand at their stand.
Yeah.
And so this is how most of the expos resulted as a result of this partnership that was created. And so what they obviously want to do is build that educational kit on a much larger scale.
Yes.
A much larger. So if we think of this on a larger scale, we have the ocean. We can build a solar farm next to that. We use the energy from the solar panels to desalinate the water and then split that water into hydrogen. That's green hydrogen.
Right.
We can move that around the world. We can move that to Sasol, the steel industries, and we can use it also to power the land through fuel cells.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Look, I think a large amount of communities out there are looking for a solution like you've created, and for corporate to get involved would be just the ideal partnership that you're looking for, because obviously you do need finance to, to build bigger and better opportunities, machines as well for this to work. What's happening right now? You've put in quite a few years. Where are you currently in your business and in this initiative?
Yeah, so in terms of the greater vision of building this off-grid system, we're trying to gradually build technologies, and through building those technologies, obviously the knowledge is there, and then hand that knowledge over to. So far, for example, through building the plastic bottle solar shower, I fully understand how to convert the energy of the sun into warm water using physics principles.
Gotcha.
And I can teach that. So with regards to the green hydrogen educational kit, I fully understand how to convert water into fuel and how to convert that fuel into electricity.
Right.
Through building an electrolyzer, through building a fuel cell. So this is how the journey is going. At this point, I also fully understand how to build a lithium-ion battery pack.
Nice. So
if we had load shedding now and then we need to power the studio, looking at the energy requirements and build the cells in such a way to power this for a certain amount of time.
Right.
So actually at UWC we have the only lithium-ion production facility in Africa at the moment.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we can produce the cells that makes up the battery pack.
Okay.
So we can not only produce the cells, but we can assemble it to get a battery pack. And then, so what we're actually doing now is...
There's a bit of a shortage for that at the moment.
Yeah, so it's definitely will be... So what we're doing now is actually we're going to build this mobile packs. So mobile battery packs that is connected to the inverter, connected to the DB board. So it's a whole full package that is mobile.
Nice.
So that is the current project we're doing at UWC with the students that I supervise.
Brilliant. So what's your future plans? Where are we going to see Green New World heading? And, take us through the next 5 to 10 years.
So well, like I said earlier, we want to build this prototype Green New World on a farm in Cape Town. So we've applied for funding for this project. It's called Agrivoltaics. And if we get this funding, inshallah, it will open up the doors to building this prototype. So we already identified a farm in Philippi. We applied for the funding. So what it's going to entail is the combination of farming, solar energy, and water purification on the same plot of land.
Nice.
So you'll have your crops, you'll have your solar panels over the crops, and you'll have the energy of that solar panels being used to pump up the water and purify the water. So the same plot of land will just give you food. Now it gives you food, energy, and clean water.
Nice.
So it's the ultimate solution. We spoke about all those 3 problems: food, energy, water. So we want to build this prototype on, and we want to take that system and integrate it as many other forms of sustainable living as possible.
Brilliant.
Like we spoke about earlier, aquaponics, sustainable housing. So integrate all of this, and so you'll have a farm that is completely off-grid. It's completely powered by renewable energy. It has its own water supply. It has its own food supply, clean, organic food. And so that in essence must be the prototype, and we can show the world that, look, this is a different way of living. Invest in this and let's build this. So that prototype Green New World becomes the product of Green New World.
Right.
So yeah.
What's the current challenges right now? That from you to get from where you are to where you need to be?
And so obviously number 1 is funding. So our vision requires millions, not billions. So we can only go as far as the funding
allows us to go.
So So like I said, we're applying for the funding now to do this next project.
Okay.
And if that funding comes through, we'll.
Inshallah.
So obviously, the vision that I have in my mind is much bigger than that one project. So I would definitely say that. I wouldn't say that it's human resources, because we have a graduate program where we're training all these graduates and they are assisting us in building all these technologies.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't say it's also knowledge. I mean, that's sort of our speciality, researching and development.
Okay. So, remind our viewers very quickly how this is going to benefit not just South Africa, but in Africa and some parts of the world as well.
Yeah. So on a much bigger scale, we spoke about the 600 million people that's without energy, and we want to solve that issue. We spoke about the 400 million people without clean drinking water, 27 million people without access to food. So that problem we want to solve on a grander scale. Okay. But obviously, as we're developing these technologies, we will solve more immediate problems like load shedding, obviously. So the people of South Africa will obviously then benefit as we develop these technologies. And if the ultimate aim is to take this form sort of off-grid, that is in essence where people need to be moving to.
Of course.
As if the system we're living in is sort of crumbling and breaking, we need a new system.
Yeah.
We need a system that is in harmony with nature.
Of course.
That accesses the free and unlimited energy of nature. Going back to a system that is more in harmony with nature. So I would say all of the people of South Africa, all the people of Africa.
But at the same time, also not harming where we need to be in future as well.
Yes.
So that we can live a sustainable lifestyle.
Yes. And I would say also ultimately, what the problem is that we have all the resources to build all the technologies to solve all the problems in Africa.
Yeah.
But what we are doing as Africans, we're taking all the resources, we're giving it to other countries. Those countries build the technologies and we buy it back from them. So we're giving all our resources away and we're giving all our money away. Are we actually solving the problem of that? Last year we spent about 12.5 billion rand on lithium-ion batteries.
Wow.
Importing it. And all the resources, 80% of, for example, manganese is in South Africa. All the other raw materials is in Africa. But we're giving all that away. We're giving our power away.
Absolutely.
So what we want to achieve is get the power back. Use our own resources to build our own technologies, using our own South Africans and Africans.
I like that. Brilliant.
To solve the problems in Africa.
Brilliant.
And bring back the power.
Where can our viewers find you on some of the good social media platforms?
Yeah, so it's all the platforms are TikTok at Green New World 23, Instagram as well, Green New World 23, and then Facebook, it's Ridaa Manuel, RIDAA, Manuel, MANUEL, and LinkedIn as well, Ridaa Manuel. And I think there's a Green New World page on Facebook as well. So.
Brilliant. Ridaa, thanks for coming in. Interesting projects. Wish you all the very best. And may all your future projects go from strength to strength, inshallah.
Okay. Ameen.
And that's how we end the topic on renewable energy with Ridaa Manuel, CEO and founder of Green New World. Do go and check him out on all the very good social medias. I know you've got a couple of billions lying around. You can help him out to solve this amazing initiative and problem that we have in South Africa and in Africa as well. After the break, we chat to Wasila Ali around eye care, especially diabetes and how it affects our eyes. Don't go anywhere. You are still tuned into Hilaal Live.